Okay, should we just crack on?
We've already started, Lucy.
Hello, welcome back to the Other Side Cycling podcast.
Happy Wednesday if you're listening on
Happy
release
Wednesday.
day.
Episode 8. Today we are joined by Francis.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, good. I enjoyed the ride over here. This was a perfect morning.
Beautiful.
And it's continuing to be a great day.
Yeah.
Saturday early morning is the time to ride in LA.
It
Because
is.
you get out, there's a little bit of commuting to your rides, but once you get out, it's absolutely stunning, as a lot of people know. But sometimes the commuting section is like, there's a lot of cars.
There are.
Early morning Saturday.
We got a pretty good weekend for this because it's Mother's Day weekend, and shout out to all the moms out there. They're keeping the people off the roads because everyone's going to brunch. We're going to do something with their mother that doesn't involve being out in the streets of Los Angeles, which is really nice.
And it's Francis' mum's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, it is. Happy birthday, Mum. When does this come out? Her
shit.
birthday, right. Happy belated birthday, Mum.
Lizzie,
Hi, Mum. Hi, Lizzie.
miss you, Lizzie. Come back soon.
I don't know you, but
Come and have some
happy birthday.
rosé.
Rosie.
Yeah, that's our drink of choice.
Okay. I'll have a glass. Oh no, I don't want to talk about alcohol right now. We had some very good feedback about the outside episode that we did from Francis, actually, along with a couple of other people. So we're back out here again. We love Mitch's studio, and it's amazing to record there, but this is a really good spot too. It's nice to be outside in the sunshine, and it's a beautiful day. Last time we filmed here, it was actually cold, and I looked kind of purple because I was really cold by the end of it.
We've got the totally opposite problem as of today, though. It's going to be 94 degrees here in Los Angeles, which
Sounds pretty hot. That's almost boiling temperatures.
conversion to Celsius for those who are watching this.
10:15. It's getting in the next 2 hours. It's only going to get hotter and hotter. How long is this pod?
Well, we've got about 2 hours on the
It's-
GoPro.
29 degrees in English terms,
Wow,
which is hot.
that's really hot.
Yeah.
Warm.
Warm like a lightsaber.
Pretty hot.
I did a Wordle the other day, and the word was balmy.
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 Do you know what that means?
Yeah, warm.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite balmy.
It's okay.
Well, this might be past balmy.
Do you use that word?
I don't think I've used it in casual conversation for like quite a long time. We have these things called SATs here. I don't know if
Like a
there's
test?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a standardized test,
Yeah, we
and
have
that was
Yeah,
definitely
SATs.
vocabulary.
Sets.
Oh, okay.
They might have changed it, though. I don't know if that's still the thing. We did SATs, but people now.
They still do tests though, right?
Yeah, I expect so.
I hope so. Because it flies.
Yeah, I know, I'm attacked by a fly.
Okay, let's jump into it. We have some questions to ask you. For the people who might not know who you are, can you give a little bit of background of what you do for your job?
I'm a guy from England who runs... do you want the official title?
Yeah,
Because it's changed recently.
yeah.
I'm the creative director of Cade Media.
That's pretty cool.
There's other people doing other jobs now. I run a cycling YouTube
Isn't it
channel.
Cade now?
Cade, yeah, I don't know if officially yet.
Okay.
We're probably dropping media. The idea behind Cade Media in the first place was changing the direction of my original YouTube channel, which was lifestyle style videos. It was just me on my own, doing everything, editing them, going on bike rides, sometimes in different countries. And it was great fun. Did it for quite a few years, and then eventually wanted to change things and do something different, because you get stuck doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was years and years I did it. So we made a change, took it away from just me, and we wanted to cover new bikes that were coming out and do bigger projects and more complicated videos with more moving parts and get other people involved. And that meant changing it from just my name to Cade Media. And we put media to just establish the fact that we were media. I think that is now obvious to people that have been watching the channel. So we're just going to clean things up. Just call it Cade.
It's good to see evolutions in the way people are tackling their creative output. Honestly, your videos had popped up on my algorithm like years ago, I imagine, like when you were doing daily vlogs, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you started?
Yeah. That was the first thing I watched. We talk about him sometimes. Casey Neistat was like the original
He's like the OG.
of elevated vlogs. Let's just say that. Before that, it was most people who were making vlogs at the time. It was, good morning, I am doing this thing. It is now lunchtime, I'm doing this thing. It is now the evening. It's a pure documentation. Whereas he started to edit them and produce them in a more like a film with a bit of production and thought behind them.
It was like every video had a point to make, and he could have made it about a stick.
A carpet, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These little spiky things on the table.
Very spiky thing.
And it would be good.
But it would be amazing, and his creativity and storytelling and the way that he makes a stick or a carpet or whatever it is interesting is pretty crazy. And he was doing them every day, which is insane. And like, not that the people that do daily vlogging where they're like, I've just woken up and now I'm making coffee and now I'm gonna eat my dinner and whatever else.
Even that is surprisingly hard.
That is still good and an accomplishment to do. But have you ever seen his videos?
Casey Neistat,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, being in New York, as a cyclist especially, you can't go a week without seeing that one famous video of him purposely crashing into obstructions in the bike lane.
By the way, that was my first video I stumbled on.
Really?
Yeah.
It's legendary. It's in the meme canon now of just people doing things to hurt themselves. But it's a very impactful subject to talk about. But I think as a content creator, he and his brother as well, Van Neistat, correct? I think they're like pioneers of that. Van lives out here on Van Grain. I wonder if his house is...
Yeah, he made a incredible video around the fires. I'll find it and put it down below. He recorded himself and documented the fires and him evacuating his family, and then he went back to make sure his house was okay. It was very stressful, obviously, but the fact that he was in a situation like that and then still managed to tell an incredible story is really cool. Well, not cool that the fire happened, but yeah, the talent that he has as well.
Yeah.
So,
No, his channel is impressive.
yeah.
Very, very creative. Yeah, both of them were big inspiration. I found his videos, and then I discovered off the back of that his old TV series, which are the Neistat brothers.
They had a TV show.
They had a
Yeah,
TV
that's-
show, HBO series.
Okay.
You need to go and see it. It's like really good.
Now that you've spoken it into the ether, I expect the internet to do its magic and just pop up.
Yeah, it'll pop up in your algorithm.
Yeah,
It's done.
the minute that
Your phone's asleep right now. It's already there.
it better be. Good God. Hope it's listening.
They're the epitome of the gear they will use. Like, he still uses the same camera because he knows where the buttons are. So he won't upgrade his gear because it messes him up.
That's
I
crazy.
love stuff like that.
That's
It's just,
crazy.
it doesn't matter what you're shooting things on. It's about, the work that's done before and the vision.
Yeah.
So much more important. Yeah, he was the big inspiration for me to start. And then I made loads of shit videos for a long time.
They weren't shit. They were great.
No, they're like, if I go back and look at them, they're, you're your biggest critique.
Yeah.
Always. What I'm saying was the inspiration was so high level,
Yeah.
so good. Even just trying to make something, attempting it
Yeah.
is good. And you learn so much, and making them kind of daily, not quite. It was never quite there. Some of the bikepacking trips maybe, but
I mean, that's pretty fair. Like, you should give yourself days off, and especially, I mean, when you're making a video, obviously it's only 5 to 10 minutes of your actual day, but you still have to think, cool, what am I going to make? Then you have to film it, then you have to edit it, and obviously that whole system, you get better and better at it as it goes on, but it still takes up most of your day to do that. Even making this podcast, and I've made about all of YouTube videos in the past, it is really hard, and especially if you do watch YouTube, you may have this vision, or you may know what you want to do, you may have this thing in your head, but then when you actually go to do it, it's so much more difficult, even just the actual filming and the framing and the sound, and then the storytelling on top of that. Editing the first episode of this podcast, I was just like, wow, I can't speak properly, I sound horrible, does anyone really care what I have to say, let alone we have to say? But Ananda was saying, when you make pancakes, the first version is always bad. And she was like,
Good
"It's like a
analogy.
pancake.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of make it and put it out there, and hopefully people can tell." But I really think that the quality of conversation, as well as the editing and everything else that we're putting out, has been improving. But going back to your point, I think that is one of the things that people maybe don't realize. Like, people just like, cool, there's a new video.
Well, and it looks slick, and it does. Your first episode was, but there's muscle memory involved here because Lucy was camera facing for years on the Sigma Sports YouTube channel, but you didn't have to do any of the editing or any of that stuff.
Other people
Or the
have to
setup.
listen to me instead.
Did they just have a room where they're like, Lucy, we're ready for you, hair and makeup, and then you come in?
We had like a studio, but I never had to edit it. I still had to write the scripts and gather the products and like speak to the brands about what products to feature and stuff. Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Were there any products that you were asked to talk about that you actually really did not care to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I wasn't necessarily reviewing them. They were more just like unboxings, so it wasn't.
Want to know the products?
Well, stuff like there are some brands that make up names for things like product features. ASOS are quite a big culprit for this. ASOS make shorts, and I'm not calling them out for like being a bad brand. I really like their products, but ASOS makes some shorts, for example, and in the men's shorts, the bit where your genitals go, it's called like a cuckoo penthouse or something like that.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Maybe they've changed it now. I obviously didn't call that out on the video, but like the materials and stuff, they're like a Swiss brand, so they make up these kind of weird names for like textures and materials, the product features. I was like, these just sound so ridiculous.
The socks have a really good name, but I can't remember what it is. I laughed at it for a long time.
Yeah.
The new socks.
I've not.
We will find it.
ASOS, please send samples. Please send samples.
There's Physique did. I think their shoes. They do a lace-up shoe, and it says like 12-point adjustment system or something on that. So it is laces.
Yeah. I feel like cycling has a big thing for just overcomplicating things or putting fancy words on things.
Those French words.
Yeah.
First.
Velo.
Velo.
Everything is fancier when you add velo to it.
I have actually worked at a brand where we had to name a product, and it was really hard. It's harder than you think to name a product because you have to find a name that isn't already taken for something else and isn't used in the cycling space. You think
Pretty easy to run out of creativity out here with the same people running things over and over and over again.
Jimmy, my business partner in Cade Media, Cade,
shit.
he had a good point about some of the product names from Redshift. There's this cool American brand that do suspension stems and seat posts, and we were reviewing some of their products, and we were like, it's the shock stop seat post, blah blah blah, and the range was confusing. Jimmy very rightly said, like, why not just call it suspension seat post 1?
Yeah.
Suspension seat post 2. You might as well.
Yeah.
I think there's a lack of people overcomplicate stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to know, or if it's say the seat posts were in order of squashiness.
Yeah.
Like one squashier than the other, and then or the travel, and it's like seat post longer, seat post medium, seat post short. Just make it like that.
Actually, I should have a seat post. It was like CGR, but it said for Cobble Gobbler.
Oh, that was good.
It
That was good. Yeah.
Was that the gooseneck?
Yeah, it had like a squishy.
Okay, yeah.
thing in it.
Desserts.
King Creek do this with their like the thunder stompers and stuff like that.
It's just got like this isomer plastic that's gonna get brittle over time.
The cobbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain bike trails. Do you have like outrageous names for mountain bike trails around here? Or are they all sensible?
And ski trails as well.
Like Badger's
They're the
Butthole, things like that.
I've never been down Badger's Butthole.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I don't participate in any snow sports, nor do I really participate in the whole mountain bike thing. I'm a little scared of doing things that are out of my control like that.
Badger's Butthole.
Yeah, if I'm going down Badger's Butthole, I really need to know what I'm getting myself into,
Yeah.
you know?
The trails change.
Yeah,
It's quite shocking.
Badger's Butthole was an evolution to it too.
What was it? Barry Knows Best.
Oh, I like that
Great
one.
trail, like quite a good one for intermediate mountain bikers, cross-country friendly,
Where is this?
in just outside of London,
The Surrey Hills.
the Surrey Hills.
Okay.
But suddenly, it like someone just built and jumps into it. In the last like 2 years, it's like, oh, okay, surprise!
Sorry,
you
that's
come
not
around the corner, and then, yeah.
Oh,
So I guess that's the importance of checking things.
I feel like that's really dangerous if like you've been riding trails for years and all of a sudden there's a new feature that was not warned about. It's just there.
You get
Yeah.
people on them.
Yeah.
Quite scary.
Full send everything. Forget it.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
If you crash off road, it's like it's like this. Look, the ground here is kind of squishy.
Yeah. Full of spikies. Full of these.
Well, then you would die. But I've never come across these things before.
No, I want
For
to
the
know
viewers.
what from the. Are they from the eucalyptus?
I don't know, but they're everywhere.
They're
It's
like,
like little tacks.
They're cones. They're cones of some sort. They're a
But they're
cone
like-
seed.
hollow in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool. They're quite cool.
These would
But
be
they
a
are very
really
spiky.
awful thing to get
What
in
a
your
tacky-
tire.
No, the fact that nature has made something like this for a reason is cool.
For dispersal. To get stuck in things to carry them around.
Do you think? Yeah, I don't know. They're very spiky though.
Yeah.
There was also a man here playing some sort of flute. And
Yes.
maybe you will have had it.
That's why we started
From the
talking about Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings. Yeah. It's the intro song.
He's gone. You've kind of mentioned your videos have changed in the last couple of years. You like moved away from the more vlogging kind of lifestyle daily videos. Pretty much always included a bike ride or something about bikes. Talk us through like the video creation process that you have now. Do you start with a product and you're like, cool, we have to make a video about this bike or this thing? Or is it more like a story you want to tell?
A mix of all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
That's a rubbish answer. We're really picky with the products. If we're going to do like a product review, we're quite picky about which ones we choose because we want it to be appropriate. We know that like super expensive bikes, everyone's going to be interested in, and there's always that lure of like, if we could, because we're only a team of, Emily does the podcast, so she's not involved in much. She like checks things over because we're stupid men. I think she's very sensible.
Gotta make
like,
sure
we're like,
it's
Emily, could you just check this and make sure it's all right before it goes out to loads and loads of people.
How many times has she said, don't put this out?
So we did a bike roast once,
NDA.
so we had to remove a big section because she was like,
NDA.
and then she banned the words ugly and horrible, which we still use sometimes. But
But how are you going to roast someone if you can't tell them that their product is ugly and horrible?
well, there were people's actual bikes, even though they got them for free in that circumstance. So they probably don't actually like it. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
I think we'll have to send in our bikes for roast at some point.
Yeah, it's
Understand.
so we're renowned for being too nice in the roast.
Okay.
But if it's someone we know, then we will try real hard.
Please burnish us.
Yeah. I think we just like bikes too much, so we're too nice about them.
It's okay.
There's not really that many bad bikes these days,
No.
which is a good thing. I did a wheel tier list video recently. So, okay, that's an example of like real, it's the opposite to the videos I used to make. So that's one, it's scripted almost entirely. Sometimes the script means like bullet points rather than a paragraph of
Excellent.
writing, but the more I write, the better I am at writing in my own voice. So that's a weird thing that people don't realize. Like a lot of YouTube videos will be scripted and there'll be an auto cue or what are they?
Yeah.
Teleprompter,
Oh.
right? So like the top end YouTube channels, if you're looking at cars, if you're looking at gaming stuff, like it's all scripted now because the information has to be correct. It's hard to write in your own voice. So that is a skill in itself, and organizing the right information on paper. So I script the whole thing and then you record it, usually sat in one place indoors, which kind of sucks because I want to be out on my bike. And I might, as I get better at this type of video, might do more outside and, do it 3 of the points outside. And it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But I guess you could just be sat down and then a lot of B-roll over the top of the right stuff. It's not overcomplicated. It's essentially a video essay.
You pretty much just gave a formula for anyone who's trying to do something of a similar caliber.
But it's
to,
still
like,
hard.
Take it on.
Still
Doesn't mean
hard.
it's easy. No.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
guess I'm still not very good at it, I don't think. I've got good bits of information in my brain because I've been lucky to be able to do this for a long time and have ridden, in the case of the wheel video, I've spent early years, the teenage years racing, and then I rode bikes, then I raced bikes, and then I rode bikes for YouTube. So I've ridden, like tens of wheels. That doesn't sound like that much.
A lot.
A lot of wheels.
A lot of
More
miles.
wheels than most people.
Yeah.
So there was enough to make a video about. That's my point.
Yeah.
So it's really just organizing that information that's already in your head and then adding in some facts and actually researching things to find out some weird things about the whatever you're talking about.
Was there anything that surprised you in that process?
Yeah, what about wheels specifically?
About how much you knew about wheels, about the wheels themselves? Like,
It made me realize that a lot of wheels feel very similar to ride. It's usually like the practical side of things that actually that I think is important and that has affected me, like hubs breaking or needing bearings replaced and things like that. That's way more important than 2 watts faster.
yeah, we're looking at you, ceramic speed, and your bearing add-ons.
Yeah.
Very unnecessary.
I ended up looking at some independent testing to actually look at this because I was like, should I put some performance-based, like how fast do these wheels actually test
Yeah.
for the same depth for all of the race wheels? And I ended up leaving it out entirely because every single wheel is within 4 watts of the other wheels.
No
So
one would.
it's just so irrelevant. So really buy the ones that look good and that you look at on your bike and go, I'm going to ride those that are within budget.
Even if it looks ugly and horrible.
Even if it looks ugly and horrible. Well, it depends on the wheels.
Well, if it's your bike, right? Didn't we just say that?
Those new wavy ones.
Mm,
I'm going to upset people. When that video goes live, I was not nice about the wavy wheels.
Well, there are some wavy wheels that look nicer than others. A couple weeks ago at Sea Otter, I ran into the Fulcrum booth, which is basically Campagnola.
Yeah. They do a wavy wheel, but can't back gun.
I actually don't think the Bora.
No, the top end
Ultra,
Boras are
they're round, right?
because they have class,
They're
but
round.
taste.
Yeah, but the Fulcrum,
Round
when Fulcrum dropped
Imagine
those
riding on those wavy
wheels-
ones.
It's the external diameter that's wavy, not the internal. Fulcrum did a rebrand of their logos that I thought was actually, it made a massive difference. There are birds fighting right now. It sounds like what wheels would sound like if they were wavy on the outside. Fulcrum originally launched those like wavy wheels. I don't know what the model was, but obviously Zip had been doing it, and Princeton, I imagine, is the other one that we're looking at here. But Fulcrum launched them and their logos just did not match that vibe. Like, the branding was just so off to what a performance wavy wheel rider might look like. Like, there's a certain swag.
What does wavy?
You know what I mean? Like,
There's a whole aesthetic.
there's a bit of
Yeah.
a swagger that you
Yeah.
kind of have to have, or like a maybe even a total lack of self-respect to be
Yeah.
riding them. But they did a rebrand and it looks so good.
Wavy wheels.
Wavy wheels.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Fulcrum rebranded them. They look a lot nicer.
So they look
now.
good, yeah.
They actually look a lot.
They're
nicer.
not bad by any stretch, but I just would prefer. Like, I was looking at the zips, and I was
Yeah.
like, these are. I had ridden 303
The fire-
Nest
the
Speedworks, like
Yeah.
the fast with the wavy,
NSWs.
but the model down looks better in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's purely it's because I like. Oh, I can ride my bike more if I like how it looks.
Yeah.
Did
it's
it have
whatever
three
looks
logos?
So many records. It doesn't have three. Sadly,
Oh.
Zip have dropped the ball there. Spoilers. The God tier wheel set that I rode was the original Zips,
Oh wow.
which were the first ones with like the dimples.
Yeah.
Don't
Were
make
they
it
rim brake ones?
Alloy brake circuits. So they actually stopped.
One thing you mentioned about the wheel test in particular, but you've also done this in other videos and other topics, is like the livability. I wasn't the first person to quote it, but I think I talked about this before. You're looking at wheels. How is it to actually service the hubs or take them apart? And then same thing for bikes too. I think that's something that's really important. It's not just cool, you buy a bike and this is how it rides. It's like, how do you travel with it? If you need to put it in a bike box or a cardboard box, or you need to change the i2 battery that's in the middle of the frame, how easy is it to get out? You know, all of those parts. I think you guys are doing a really important job there.
Well, I don't know if we were the first people to do it, but maybe we've made it quite at the front of most of our
Yeah.
videos when we test bikes. So it's a whole section where we're like, let's take the seat post out and see how easy it is to actually change, and a saddle.
Yeah.
And the bars. And brands of some bikes are really good. Specialized did it with the Athos. They went backwards and like just didn't make any of it integrated and have a threaded bottom bracket and things like that. I think some people are catching on. Some other brands are now making things to be easier to use. Factor's marketing says the new one is, I think, what's it called? For
The Mondo.
Monza. Yeah, and like they're like, oh, this is a bike for consumers.
But if you look
I don't know who they were selling bikes to before.
Yeah.
But it's got like a bit of storage in the frame.
Yeah.
It's got some practical choices.
I saw the press release for it, and it looks like they just did a step sizing chart where the biggest size and the smallest size are actually exactly the same as the Austro, so they're not different bikes. And then in between sizes, so let's say a 52 or a small from the Austro is in a medium in the Monza, or maybe it's backwards. Maybe I have it in reverse. One of them just is a taller nominal size chart, but you could literally just size up in the other bike and it's the same.
Yeah, the geometry is not a race bike. Sorry, it is just a race bike.
It is just another
like
race
someone
bike
on
with step
our,
geometry.
We posted a thing of complaining, but it was a clip of Emily talking about that bike and, oh, they're making a bike for consumers. And then someone underneath was like, no, it's not the design choices, it's the geometry. And I looked at the geometry and it's
Still
a
the same.
tarmac.
Still the same.
It's like 5 mil shorter than a tarmac, but it's lower.
Oh, bike.
So it's just an aggressive. It's still a really aggressive bike.
It's another aggressive faux endurance bike.
Well, some people want a racy looking bike. I think so many brands are missing a trick. Just, I'm not going to tell them how to do their jobs, but maybe I am. Just make endurance version of your race bike.
Yeah.
Because no one wants a big bendy, wendy Roubaix. Like, just make a cool one. Just make a tarmac that's for people who have a belly.
Something that most people can fit.
No, seriously. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
The people who are flexible are not the majority.
Yeah. It should be like flexible version, racy version.
Yeah.
I guess the problem is people would still buy the race one.
I find myself.
So don't listen to my advice. Bike brands.
Fucking
Just let people be uncomfortable.
They'll continue. I don't know.
They will. Ignorance is bliss in some cases.
Shouting into the ether.
What's the biggest piece of advice you have for someone that's maybe been thinking about starting to make videos? Do you have one piece of advice? Or maybe two?
Make 1,000 videos. And don't stop. It depends what you want to get out of it. If it's just an exciting, fun, creative thing, just do it and don't do it too much, because then it takes the fun out of it. Same as cycling, or anything. If you want to make it your job, do it for as long as possible and make whatever changes that you need and adjustments to how much you do it to be able to do it for as long as possible. Because it's all well and good doing it for a year and making a video every single day, and you'll probably get really good, but you might also hate your life at the end and hate your videos and then have to quit.
Yeah.
It's kind of balancing that whole 10,000 hours aspect, right? Have you guys heard of that concept?
I've heard it's not 10,000 hours, it's 10,000 iterations. So that would be 10,000 videos. Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, I did 1,000, and I don't think my videos at number 1,000 were good enough. Well, I still don't think they're good enough. But if you ever think they're good enough, then you're in trouble, right?
That's true.
You start getting better. You can always learn more.
Content with your content is a recipe for
Yeah. I hate it. I look 2 weeks back and I'm like, oh, that guy. What's this? What an idiot.
We're different people
One
from
of the
2 weeks
biggest
ago.
critic of all of it. So I try not to look at it.
You just
I hate that guy.
like export the video, put it up, and then don't look at it again. I guess why would you? I do follow a couple of vloggers on YouTube, not cycling people, but more lifestyle ones, and they maybe started daily videoing, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, but now they just do like a weekly video, and it's kind of a couple days put into one video. And recently they started looking back at their videos from 10 years ago and like rewatching them, and they have kids now and they're like showing their kids. It's pretty crazy, I think, for our generation, because you kind of are growing up with these people, and especially if you're like lifestyle blogging, you share your life basically with these people, so then they kind of think they know you or think they know the creator.
The parasocial aspect.
Yeah, but it's crazy that they can also have those time pieces to like look back on. And even like the early days, like sometimes I do, this is not very often at all, but I did it recently where I went back and like watched one of your videos from, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago now, but it was one with me in it, and I was like, whoa, I've changed so much since we were just riding around Richmond Park in London, and we're just messing about on bikes and just riding around. It's crazy. I just think like to look back on that.
It's so cool to be able to look back.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But it does have its downsides. One of the big things I noticed is the shift in attention in the comments and how personal they are.
Yeah.
So after the change to the new brand, I suppose, and the style of videos we're making, their comments on the videos are all about the topic we're talking about, which is way easier to read through. Whereas before, it's comments about the people. And then as soon as we switch back to like something more lifestyle-y, like we'll throw out a vlog every now and then. And Jimmy said this in a podcast, he won't mind me saying it, and then immediately there's comments going, Jimmy looks a bit fat.
Oh.
Shit like that. And it's the stuff you don't want to,
No.
Why would you want to read
But
that?
these are probably like,
Because people feel as if they're watching you and know you, so they feel like they need to comment on you. But that's a trap.
There's really no
That's
place
part of it, isn't it? This is what you fall into.
There's no place for that kind of disrespect in general, but I guess when you have that screen in front of you, you feel kind of impervious. Like, me saying this has no repercussions to anybody.
yeah.
Right? But there are. People have feelings. People can get hurt. That's really
It might make that guy feel better.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's what I if I see it, very rarely do I read comments now.
Fair.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
Why? And even the feedback loop is too fast, in my opinion. So when I'm checking out videos, I look at I look at it a month later,
Yep.
and does it have 99% thumbs up? Yes, fine.
Yeah.
If it drops to like 98, 97, we're like, oh, what was in there?
Where
Like,
did it go wrong?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it never goes below that. I think we've had maybe one or two videos go below that. And it's usually the podcast, because there's so many topics in a podcast. There's something that
Somebody's
somebody's
gonna
got,
say
I disagree with that. Just, the thumbs
I
down.
don't think I've ever thumbs down a YouTube video ever. Like, I thumbs up a video if I like it, but I'm not like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Is it true?
That's the kind of person you are, right? If you were sad and angry with your life, you'd probably go around thumbs down.
Is it true that the engagement doesn't change if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
No one knows.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
I think the interaction matters the least. This is my guess, by the way. The interaction, so comments and thumbs downs and thumbs ups, matters the least it ever has. It's all down to watch time. And the algorithm is so good now, it's getting sent to the right people.
Yeah.
So we've ended up, I used to shy away from uploading videos that were too long. I mean, your video, look, we have an hour long
Always an hour.
podcast, there's always
Yeah.
an hour, and it's great. YouTube likes that.
Yeah.
So we're not scared to upload longer videos. Although you definitely notice at the start, which is when I used to look at the stats, you upload a 20-minute video for the first time, whereas all the previous ones were 8, and it's doing so badly, and it's because people can't watch it on the bus. It's like a bigger investment, and then it always catches up.
Yeah.
So another reason why don't look at it early on.
No, it's like true. If I have like a task to do, like laundry or I don't know, cleaning, a podcast that's on YouTube or like a 30-minute video or whatever, put it on, and I am watching it, but I'm not like sat down to watch it. I kind of have it on in the background and I'm like glancing at it. I kind of save those videos.
This is why podcast does well, I think, because you can listen to it while, as long as you're like conscious that there is audio only people. You don't want to do too much like, oh, Lucy, put this over the top, because a lot of people won't see it. They'll only hear it. But it's compatible with other tasks.
Yes.
I think that's people. It's people listening to podcasts instead of radio now.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing. Like your podcast, so it's nice and chill. I can put it on while I'm cooking.
And it's like people can sit here on the bench with us.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost like daily vlogging or weekly vlogging, but more about just what the goes about.
It fills that gap. I think it fills that gap. And then we definitely still, for ages, we had like, oh, I want the outside vlog, like bring it back the you never ride your bikes. It's like, well, we do. I just don't film it anymore, which is way nicer for me. Sorry.
Because it's already part of your like daily life anyway. You're going to get better quality content if you focus specifically on the kind of content that you're pushing out that is actually going to positively affect your business and what people are asking for, right?
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's a big part of comments or people sharing. Even when you were doing daily videos, you were only sharing, I don't know, 10 minutes of your life each day. There's the other 23 and a half hours. It's also dependent on like what you share and how you share it. But then people think that they know you or they have a certain idea of like who you are. And it's not that that isn't true, but there's so much more to life than just like what you choose to share.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely the same person that in the videos as I am in real life. Maybe too much. So maybe I shared too much of the real thing. But I guess it's why some audience members were sad or annoyed that it's now gone. My friend's gone. Like I used to watch and be hanging out with this person virtually, and then it changes. It is what it is.
It's a testament to that you're saying how real you were in those things and how you still exist in that space today, that you guys are still friends here 6 years later.
Nah, this is all fake.
In Los Angeles of all places.
With the videos, it was all, I only ever hung out with my friends pretty much. I mean, there were some like events, I guess, where it was like new people and it's a bit transactional. It'd be in the video, good fun, but on the whole, it really was very real. And I think that's why it was popular.
Yeah,
I say popular, it was like, 20,000 people watching it and maybe 30.
Good.
Maybe imagine those people in a room, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, 20,000
That's a stadium.
bike ride.
That is a
That's a
stadium
big bike ride.
Yeah.
That's bigger than that ponies ride did.
Yeah. Ponies is...
What's it called? Pink
No,
Pony
no.
Club.
Panda's Ponies.
Okay.
Actually, speaking of club rides, did you hear Capri Club got kicked out from the Capri Club?
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
Controversy.
what do you mean?
The Capri Club There's a bar that Lucy frequents for cocktails on.
I don't go there that often because it's quite far away from where I live, but I do like it. Yeah.
Yes. It's a cocktail bar called Capri Club.
Yeah.
And there is like a basket bike, like just chill group ride that goes out of there every, I think, Wednesday nights, something like that. And there were so many of them, not 20,000 or 30,000 people, but quite enough that it took up the whole sidewalk.
Yeah.
And so they got booted. They're no longer invited back.
Savage.
Savage.
Well, I hope
Oh,
they-
not even riding. They were just waiting to start the ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's tough. If it's taken away from business, that's complicated. But also, I hope they find another home.
I know. Will they have to change their name from Capri Club to something else?
Your group rides out here are next level. Like
Yeah.
we would never, if we did a group ride in the UK, like cycling club would organise it usually,
Yeah.
and 300 people might turn up.
Yeah.
They're split into groups of 25.
Yeah, waves.
And
Yeah.
and they're like based on the length of the route and the speed and that kind of thing, and everyone goes off. Never is it just one big snake.
Yeah.
Whereas here, there's some other shots that I've seen like down PCH
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
back when it was open.
That
Full
I
train.
kind of rate it though.
I
It's
think
critical
it's,
mass.
it's
Just like
It is
take it
cool.
I think it's safer.
Yeah, it is.
Because-
Numbers.
And I think actually, not to say that people don't have incidents, they definitely still happen, but I think drivers in LA are much better than English
100%.
drivers.
Well,
on, like road aggression.
Yes, maybe not skill level.
No.
No.
But I just mean,
Definitely
I
not
just mean
skill
like
There's a bit of negligence, I think. I feel
just
they're not angry.
incidents. I try to explain that to American people that I ride with. If I'm on a group ride, I'm like, this is really crazy. In the UK, this could never happen ever, ever, ever. Even if you ride two abreast, which is legal in the UK and should be how people ride. The fact it's just completely the
You can't
opposite.
ride two abreast because you get shouted at and run over.
Yeah.
Like whereas here, we ride two abreast to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole way chatting.
The lanes are just wider
Yeah,
as
just
well.
bigger
It's
roads,
there's just
less
more
technical.
space.
Yeah.
I think as long as people are conscious and not looking at their phone while they're driving, they're generally pretty okay, even if they're disappointed.
I
The
think
circumstances being stuck behind us, right?
your phone laws are a bit more relaxed. Like if you're stopped at a light, people
Oh yeah.
allowed to use the phone?
No.
No.
Definitely not. Actually, that's funny. I spoke to a traffic director, like cop, on the street once. I was just like at an intersection waiting, and I just chatted him up. I was like, "How many people do you think are on their phones?" He's like, "You're not from LA if you're not on your phone while you're driving." And I was like, "That's the perspective of a police officer, of a traffic
That's
enforcer."
really
So they
scary.
wouldn't
They-
enforce it.
They wouldn't enforce it,
Right.
because it's just everyone's so
Like, you
busy.
wouldn't like that.
Like you would not like.
I
I
don't
know a
like
guy
that.
who catches, he like films people through the car windows.
Oh yeah.
It's infamous.
Okay.
It's like a pretty controversial character.
Fair.
And he catches people. He's caught like Guy Ritchie and like celebrity. Yeah. And most people are just like, sorry. And then they go to court
Yeah.
and get done for it
Yeah.
I mean,
because they're
he has
footage.
evidence.
If you like touch your phone, you're
Yeah.
not allowed to fiddle around with your sat nav. You're not allowed to do anything.
Really? Not even on?
No.
Not even the map?
Yep.
Wow. What if I have to change a song?
No.
Talk to it.
Siri.
Oh my god. My Siri doesn't listen to me.
Maybe because people drive more automatic here, that people can use their phone easier. I'm not saying they should or it's okay by any means, but it's just like a different style of driving.
Waymo.
Waymo.
Yeah,
They don't pass through my block. But do we want to give people a little context?
I think some of the viewers, if you have English listeners, I think there's some people that don't realize how far driverless car technology has gone. I know it's only in San Francisco and here.
And Phoenix. We're in
Austin.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. There are legit taxis you can get, like an Uber, are entirely driverless, and they work really well, and they're very fast.
Except for when they get scared. Have you ever seen one get scared?
Yep.
They-
No.
How?
Like, so there are some intersections here where there's no traffic signal. There's a stop sign maybe. And so at a stop sign, you always give the main thoroughfare right of way. The Waymos will not move. Let's say, for example, it's coming out of a gas station. Why would it be a gas station? Out of a
Petrol
drive-through
station.
Yeah, maybe, but it's coming out of a drive-through. Like someone got in and out, right? Those parking lots.
No, I didn't know you could do
Can you
that.
like direct it for a?
No.
Potentially.
You'd maybe have to say that was your end point, but I don't think it should go for the drive-through.
I imagine that's the
Not yet.
reason it would be exiting. Drop
Yeah.
someone off at an in and out. those parking lots are notoriously horrendous.
I think we should just focus on the positives rather than the negatives.
Well, they just get scared. I think it's really cute when they get scared. Like they're like, I
Yeah,
can't.
not in like a dangerous way.
Yeah.
No, it's just
stuck there for a
frustrating
while.
if you're stuck there behind them.
Yeah.
It's like, give it a push. Come on.
It just blows my mind that they work as well as they do, and
Yeah.
they really is functional. And
Yeah,
it's
it
you
is.
stand like every minute a Waymo comes past. Like it's a legit network of what happens when they all start talking to each other, and it's a hive mind of driverless, carpooled vehicles that the private car ownership will be gone.
Yeah.
Or will reduce, which is great. There'll be no cars parked on the side. It could be
Doubtful of how the culture is down here in Los Angeles. People love their cars. I'm like,
But they love their cars because there's no other option but to.
It's a thing.
drive.
It's a status thing, isn't it?
It's a status thing,
Americans
yeah.
really like their cars.
there's
There's
a
that
car
kind of like,
culture.
where I have the right to have this. I want
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it's a
Yeah.
show of wealth. It's a show of status. But I think people, when they realize the convenience of, I get in a car and it drops me off,
and I don't
it
have to
ends
worry
up
about
cheap,
this.
which
Yeah.
it hopefully would.
Well-
Maybe I'm too optimistic, but
No, at the minute. So I'm a massive Waymo fan, was on the waiting list. I was definitely one of the first people in my friend groups to use Waymo, and like I'm a big advocate for it. If you need a code, hit me up. I can set you up.
you get money every time someone uses your code.
Yeah, it's like a referral thing.
This is now going to be marked as a promotional episode for Waymo.
If I'm looking for a ride, I do Waymo, I look at Uber, and I look at Lyft just to see the price. And it used to be Waymo was more expensive, like a couple dollars. Now, often it's actually cheaper than an Uber.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of their plan.
I think
But-
Uber did invest in Waymo. They are partnered with them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's also new vehicles that I have seen,
You see those little buses, right? Those vans.
Yes.
Those minivans.
and I haven't seen them without a driver yet, but I think they're meant to be
That's-
driverless. They have all the sensors. and stuff.
No way. Okay.
They're probably just for higher capacity trips.
Yeah.
Like, because I think a Waymo can fit if you include the driver's seat as a size where you can actually be sat. That's a 4.5 seater.
Driver's seat.
You can't?
No.
Really?
I think it would be too tempting to touch the steering wheel and the pedals.
If you touch it, the real person voice comes out and goes, "Stop touching it."
Did you
What are you
see-
doing?
Did
Yeah,
you do that?
No, I've seen it. A TikTok.
Maybe that can be a B-roll for this. We can all call a Waymo later and just touch the steering wheel.
No.
Have a chat to the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hey, where are you based on? Record the podcast on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
Go
could just
live.
new podcast
Concept.
a Waymo,
Oh, we should
an
do
hour-long
We
trip,
should do
which
that.
could be like Waymos won't go on the big freeways, right?
Right.
So you can we could just drive to like Koreatown or somewhere, and it has to take a
Just be stuck in traffic.
Slow. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. It's like carpool karaoke, but carpool podcast.
But this came about because I can't take Waymos in my neighborhood. It's also like inaccessible for me, even though I was on that same wait list as you. I don't think I was there as long as you've been because you had access to it before I did. But my neighborhood still, although I have access to Waymo, won't allow me to get picked up by a Waymo because my cross street is too sketchy.
It is quite dangerous. It scares me when I drive out of your way.
It's
Kind of sketchy.
It's one of those T intersections where it's a main street on the main part, the top hat of the T, and then it's like a
Onto a 35
Yeah.
mile an hour street,
yeah.
and you can turn right, but if you need to turn left, it's tricky.
Yeah, I've been in cars where that's been an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have like major blind
And
spots.
you end up just going right
Yeah,
and then driving until you can turn around.
there's kind of like a little blind hill too, so you can't really see the cars coming from the other side, and it's just like fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm going now.
In terms of a bike rider
Yes,
and being a bike rider,
yes.
I quite like being around Waymos
For sure.
more so than being around real life drivers.
Much
Because they
safer.
give you loads of space. They're like not driving up your ass the whole time. And when they overtake, they give you lots of room as well. And if
Legally
it's not
it's 6
safe,
feet?
they just stay there. It's good.
They always know that you're there. Whereas-
Those cameras.
That's why they have all those
right?
sensors. Yeah. So Tesla committed early on to like, we're only going to use Camrys to do all of our self-driving, which is why they're a bit stuck.
Mm.
And I don't know if the cameras are as good as they thought they were. Which is why Waymo is legit.
Because they've got those proximity sensors, right?
Yes, exactly.
I would love to know how many Waymos there are in LA. of like, oh, there's some just
The amount you see.
are they just doing loops of my neighborhood, for example?
Yeah. I guess they always drive. They don't park.
Yeah.
Unless they go back to their hub, which is just a giant car park, right, to charge.
Do you think there will ever be a time where we get driverless or self-assisting e-bikes where you can, because Lyft, you can call like a city bike, or what you guys know as like a Boris bike. They have those as like proper e-bikes. They were redesigned and like really quite fancy and a lot nicer than the original versions. I'm wondering if those will ever be
Like a Lime bike.
Waymo-ified.
Well, they drive to you.
Yeah, like instead of it
Finding
having,
that little spot, especially when you've had 6 years.
because when the wheels are turning on a bike, right, it'll always stay upright.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I see them on the beach path, my runs. There's like a bank of them on the beach path, which is, I think it's sick.
But then you have to kind of know that there's a dock near where you're going to.
Yes.
So I could ride, there's a dock.
Just a dog from Mitch's house.
Remy.
He's come all this way.
He knew.
I think that is the problem with those. You have to know that there's like the structure to edit your ride out.
Mm-hmm.
You have ridden in a lot of places and also with a lot of people. Who's the best person that you've ridden a bike with?
Oh, this is a big question, Lucy.
Ridden with and then also met on a bike.
Ridden with.
Yeah.
My favourite person to ride with is Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Because he's so strong and you can just like tie an inner tube to him. They don't pull you along. And he's always good vibes and he's always chill. And things can be going like really wrong. This is one of my best mates, Lawrence Carpenter. He has a
There's a YouTube
he
channel.
has a lifestyle vlog. You love it. You should check it out.
Check it out then.
But he's strong. You know when like an ex-pro doesn't want to let go of their fitness,
Yeah.
so he just rides his bike 20 hours a week and somehow doesn't run out of money. That's Lawrence. he's winning at life. It's great.
Fair.
But yeah, having him on a trip, he's the calmest person. So there'll be like things are going very wrong, like a bike snapped in half. We're in a dodgy part of town. It's getting dark, and he's just like, it's just chill. It's just fine.
Sometimes that's
Could be
scary
worse.
though. You're like, maybe we should be panicking, Rep.
Nah,
No
Nah,
adrenaline.
it keeps you calm. It rubs off. So yeah, he's my favorite person to ride with. Despite being way stronger than me most of the time, I've had him. So when I hit peak fitness, he's smoke, but that rarely happens. So he always adapts his pace. I like that.
That's really nice.
Yeah, he's got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
When there's just someone who's chill.
Top tier racer already. Doesn't really have to do much. Yeah.
I mean, he'll take gravel tires when you're on road tires, so he actually gets a workout, things like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Best person I've met.
Yeah.
What in the world? Ever?
Yeah. You're just
Most memorable maybe. Like someone who just like sticks out to you from a trip.
Betty. It's got to be Betty.
Tell us a little bit about Betty.
Well, I don't think that's her real name. We've named her Betty. Betty, I cycled across America with my friend Justin to raise money for charity. We raised lots of money. It was great. And like somewhere in Texas, we were stopped at a gas station and we met a lady called Betty who introduced us to like some energy drink that she reckons that if you drank like 5 of them, your heart would explode. And she was just very memorable. And I'll send you a link.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah, there's not much else to say about her really. She speaks for herself. Like the video clip, that's all you need to.
Yeah.
And then you'll know. You'll be like, okay, yeah.
Have you ever uploaded that clip as like an independent short?
I
on
should.
YouTube?
I should.
You should.
Yeah. I think the problem is she maybe didn't know that she was being filmed, but I feel like she did.
she was going.
But we interacted with a lot of people on that. It was every single day for like 60 days, 50,
crap, that's
58
true.
days or something like that. No, 48 days. Some days.
That's not that many, really.
48 days.
Yeah.
And every time we filmed something, we were like a lot of gas stations, wherever we stopped, there's people, there's things going on. We were a bit of a circus. The setup that we had is like hand bike, a wheelchair, weird bike packing gear and all bags and shit.
You had
And
a trailer at some point?
trailer with a wheelchair in it. And so everyone talked to us. We tried to make sure we got permission from all, the people at the end of the conversation, but sometimes they were just gone. And we're like, oh, okay.
Like a release form.
Yeah, there's no release form, but we were raising money for charity, sorry.
Yeah.
Please let us keep it. But she was a great sport, and she knew she was being over. She knew she was on film. I think the question from Justin to her, she was running the gas station, right? Was these things called 5 Hour Energy if I drink 2 of these, do I get 10 hours of energy or double energy for 5 hours?
Have you ever had a 5-hour energy?
I actually did used to drink some 5-hour.
Have you ever had 2? Because you never answered them.
I have had 2 I think in rapid succession.
So was it double energy, same amount of time, or was it?
I think at some point the overdose on caffeine, like you just start.
It's double energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question and answer.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, Betty. You had your chance.
We was too scared to do it.
Yeah. She didn't want a jitter.
Well,
She didn't need it.
I was an idiot. I was in college staying up all night trying to figure out my finals.
that would, yeah, everything to the max.
Speaking about the channel, what's your big goal for the next 5 years? Where do you want to take it? Do you have a goal, or are you just gonna see what happens?
I always just see what happens.
Yeah.
There's loose goals. I don't like to. It changes too often. Like if I set a goal and I get distracted and start doing other stuff, all I want to do is go to work, really enjoy what I'm making, make something I'm happy with, and then repeat. And that's it. We're in a great position where I think over the next medium term, there'll be more people involved, which is really cool, who share the same vision and outlook on cycling.
Get it. And
yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
It changes. The work is changing. Like the things I have to do are changing.
Yeah.
Which and with anything, to make something sustainable, like we were saying at the start, doing something for a really long time I think is the most important thing if you want to be successful in it. Like it doesn't, the rate of how you do it, as long as you don't stop.
Yeah.
You just want to keep doing things. And now I've done it for quite a long time.
I'm not over it.
There are some tasks which I'm not as good at because I'm not interested in them and I don't like doing them as much. So I'm going to figure out how to do the things that I really like, which is still work.
Yeah.
Which is actually, for me, is filming the videos, scripting the videos and filming the videos and editing them. I don't want to, all the other stuff on the outside is
10 minutes.
draining to me. And there is loads of other stuff people don't realize.
He doesn't know.
Like
He wasn't doing.
organizing the studio and getting bikes called in and dealing with emails and dealing with the finances side of things. Like if we're starting to hire people, that's suddenly like, you've got to be a businessman and deal with all that, make sure there's people relying on their pay. Mm-hmm. And that is stressful to me.
Yeah.
So us all doing the right jobs that suit us is super important. And I think that's the key to doing something for a long time. That's it.
On that perspective of like, if having employees, it's people that you're hiring because you want to rely on them, but then at the end of the day, they're also relying on you for income.
Yeah.
Right? And the product that you're all putting out, at least you're all invested in the same thing.
And as of now, it's all people that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
Which some people might think is risky, but I wouldn't work with someone unless they're my friends.
Yeah.
So there's even more invested in that.
Yeah.
Like I want everyone to do well.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
They just didn't realize.
Skin in the game.
Having a line.
What that is. Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think that's how you use that.
If things mess up, then one of my friends is in the same situation as me.
On the topic of YouTube and everything, I think coming out of COVID, coming out of the pandemic, we saw like shorts and really like short format content like TikTok and Reels and Shorts come about. And you earlier were mentioning how like long format content was now being pushed by YouTube or being appreciated by viewers now.
So
Is that something that you can like actually pinpoint for your channel? Like do shorts perform well for you guys? Do things like that? Short form content?
The occasional one.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know enough about shorts. I know we should be doing it, but I also know it's very hard to quantify if it's doing anything.
Yeah.
I think it does drive, we've had a few messages. We've posted shorts again after a long time not doing it.
Yeah.
Of like the short podcast clips.
Yeah.
Which are a minute long or whatever.
Sure.
On socials and on YouTube. And we've had a couple of messages like, I got back into your podcast because I saw those clips. Keep doing those. They're really like nice little snippets. I was like, okay. But we don't know really
Yeah.
if it's worth our time.
Yeah.
There's so few of us.
Yeah.
Really, there's 3 of us working right now.
Yeah.
And I know our best time is spent for me making long form videos, for Emily making the podcast, for Jimmy sorting out all the email stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, he loves just emails.
Chatted.
And shorts is like the last thing that we go, one of us should do this. And
Yeah.
I've been posting a few Does it make a difference? Yes. Do we need a social media person at some point? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it high priority? No.
Yeah.
Are we missing out? Maybe. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Currently.
It's also like an afterthought, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like your focus is longer form content, and I don't mean the podcast necessarily, just mean like YouTube. That is, you're not just like filming something and then putting it out. It's structured. I think a lot of people that do reels are like making a reel. The reel is the intention of the content that they're putting out, whereas then for you it's kind of just like, oh, here's a snippet of this or that, which is not a bad thing. They do different stuff.
The people that do it the best from channels that are structured in a similar way to ours make dedicated shorts.
Yeah.
It will be like a cool little snippet of information that doesn't warrant a whole long form video about it, but is still interesting, and they'll shoot it vertical and they'll make it specifically for a short, and then they'll upload that.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't have the time for. But then some of the biggest podcasts in the world, I know for a fact, one of them kind of based out of Newcastle, all they do is outsource some guys to chop up the clips and post them as, like they run it through some AI thing and just post them, which is similar to what we do. And they're the biggest in the world. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah. So maybe there's nothing wrong with that.
Big production companies will do that too. I mean, I sat down and had a drink the other night with someone who does that for A24. Like, they get the movies early, he watches the movie, and then he makes a trailer for it that's specifically a short or reel or TikTok version of the trailer. And so we sat at the bar just watching trailers that were released. Sorry, Raf.
Ooh, sneaky.
But yeah, we're muddling our way through it. But there's people who are experts in shorts.
Yeah.
Really, you want to just let them do it and pay someone who actually knows what they're doing.
Do you know who's really good at shorts or reels? There's a guy called Outside Branding, and he makes...
You've been in touch with this guy?
Yeah.
I've met this guy.
Yeah.
Wait, we've been in the same room.
We have?
Yes.
At Kyoto?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And his stuff, I mean, it's like a whole different category.
He'll make like a chain ring in the shape of a crab.
Right.
And then it will like 3D printed weird, the maddest stuff.
That's really cool. I'll link his channel in the description. He's someone that makes really cool.
Yeah, he's nailed that.
It's interesting to just see how like the attention span of people has changed quickly after quarantine. We don't have to do real status unless you're chatting. But for a while, it kind of looked like that was the way everything was going. That you kind of needed to do that. But now we were just talking about if you just have something that you can passively listen to and still be entertained by the content, keep the attention span, even if you're not focused on the visuals. Visuals are still obviously important.
I think enough people have this onslaught of like information, and they just want the opposite.
Yeah.
And that it's a pendulum, isn't it? Like it always swings back the other way, and actually want some really chill stuff. I've been trying to talk slower in some of my videos. I'm conscious that like there's a lot of really great YouTube channels that I watch, and it's slow and relaxing to watch.
Yeah.
My videos aren't like that. Often me and Jimmy are like, we need more energy because we're kind of quiet at a baseline. And there's a balance, and it depends on the topic. Maybe if we're talking about like something silly like cutting up bike locks, we want some energy because that's the audience that will be watching it. Whereas on the other hand, we're talking about a touring bike that's just coming out, and the audience, you have to tailor it to the audience.
Yeah,
they might want to watch something a bit more
like doing
chill.
Yeah. I like that the conscious thinking about that, and especially because you've been doing it for so long, you can take a step back and be like, cool, this is what I want to focus on or put my energy into, because you know how to edit, or you know how to shoot, or you know how to make the sound really good. So then you can spend time focusing on these other elements.
Yeah, it only gets.
Bill,
you can only start making those creative choices once you've nailed all the rest of the stuff.
After 1,000 videos.
Yeah, at least 1,000.
It's your job, man.
It's such horrible advice, isn't it? Make 1,000. Oh no. Make 10. And then make 100.
We're almost at 10 for the podcast.
900. 991 to go. What's one change you would love to see in the cycling industry or bike world?
more bikes for normal people, marketed to normal people, because there are lots out there, but the brands don't focus on the marketing enough, and they don't put the same budgets in.
For consumers.
For consumers, yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think a lot of the bikes that when I was working in a bike shop that I would sell on the daily, which was like the bulk of my numbers, was selling everyday bikes to everyday people who don't give a damn about the Tour de France or who's riding this bike, how fast you can go. They just want something that's reliable.
And like get them from A to B.
Yeah, and cheap to service, and it looks nice. And I think the cost would inherently go up for those bikes if you added more marketing to that, but it would sell more, so wouldn't that balance out? Right?
I feel like
Brands have big budgets for marketing. They just take a little slice from the tarmac and put it into the Roubaix.
Yeah.
That's all I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Because
But we don't want to see it on
bikes
the
aren't, right? And they're just not shouted about enough by the big brands. SRAM Red releases. They did an event in London, which we got invited to, and obviously we said no because we don't like leaving the studio. We just want a PDF in the group set, please. The SRAM Red released, and they had a red carpet event.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they had like big budget, where they spent lots of money on like a venue, and then I rented a pub afterwards and all this stuff.
Not good. Job too.
Well, lots of people went, had a great time. SRAM Force comes out, nothing.
Yeah.
Comparatively, nothing.
Yeah.
Did you run better?
So
Maybe a little bit.
but that's the one people are actually going to be buying. I know they want to make a big song and dance about it, but perhaps it's more endurance bikes. Like, why make them look cool?
Yeah.
And then
Cannondale
people
just
end
came
up
out
on
with their
the
new
right
Synapse.
bike. And they made a great advert, right?
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
Like a Morton thing.
I
Yeah.
think it looks cool.
I do think it looks cool, and I do think it's because of how they did it. They
Yeah.
did it fully with Lachlan and like EF, Oatly, other sponsors that were part of the team in order to make that bike
It works like
kind of worth it. I mean, they did a Lab 71 version, and Lachlan is racing it in the gravel scene. So it does make a lot of sense for them to do something like that.
Yeah,
But
more of that.
yeah,
That's really good. Cannondale done well.
I guess people like talking about shiny things that are like sexy. So it's like, how do we make cheap bikes, or not cheap, that's a terrible word, but just
more affordable bike,
more affordable bikes,
more accessible bike.
sexy and like fun. You guys are doing a good example of that, but it's interesting that there's still not that many other people doing it. You definitely have the edge, but like all the other creators are just like, look at this 10K bike, look at this shiny wheel set, look at this. It's like, how do we make, I think, the more entry-level stuff sexy,
Yeah.
exciting.
Media have definitely been covering this stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I've looked up historic reviews of tri-bands and things like that, they come up, and there's legit great journalists covering it. It's just not packaged right, so it doesn't reach the audience that you want it to reach.
Yeah.
And we did a video on that. It was 340 pounds, like less than $400 for a great road bike from Decathlon, and it got millions of views. That's how many people really are interested in that kind of bike. Like, that's a price point that should be pushed.
Yeah.
And you can get good stuff at that money. But I find it, when I make first look videos, is our kind of format for a review, but not a long-term review of bikes. So we do a lot of high-end bikes, some mid-range bikes now, and we've done lower-end ones as well. Finding footage of the lower-end bikes from the manufacturers is impossible. They don't make a video. Where's the promo video for the Specialized Alloys? Bad example, because there is one in that case.
Yeah.
A lot of the other brands don't make a cool video that I can nick for, credit them.
Yeah.
I want some product images and cool stuff that makes it look flashy and exciting to ride. It's just not there for the lower end or the mid-range bikes.
Yeah. They don't put that investment dollar into it when they could be.
Yes.
I think one of the things that I notice in that regard is that if someone who's non-endemic to cycling wants to get into bikes, or someone is being targeted to be like some sort of influencer, right? They're not getting those lower end bikes, but they should be. Those are the kinds of people who are going to have impact on, maybe theoretically, on the larger scale of consumers who don't already have access to the sport. and they're not getting those like cheaper, more affordable bikes. And it's like, if someone who is really like, let's say, Colleen Quigley, right? She has a factor.
Good.
That's a really crazy.
She's an Olympian steeple chaser
Yes.
that has started cycling, and I think is
What's
wants
this?
to do triathlon. No, it's
It's an event in
Jumping.
she does trek
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
and running.
But she has a factor. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't have a top tier bike, but for those brands, like, wouldn't you also want those people to have access to like the smaller?
So you want
Bikes
to
as
see more influences on allies.
Yeah, things that are achievable.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you want people also to have the top tier, the flashiest, because they do deserve it if they're top tier athletes. But why not allow them to grow into that? Especially if it's not their primary sport,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Like,
LA is still £1,000.
yeah, it's not cheap either. It's still very expensive. And it's like seeing that, we were talking about this earlier offline, how skateboarding has influenced the cycling media scene, and like how it's infiltrating a lot of sports media right now. Just that like making things cool
yeah.
involves giving this like anti-establishment feel, this kind of like retro 90s, not super polished, but very like, it's something that you could go after and feel cool doing. And a lot of traditional bike media, like you said, isn't packaging things in that regard to make those
Like, was it?
products that could be cool.
Yeah.
They need to do those kinds of, like Anthony Edwards doing his Adidas ad, right? For it, like, they basically made a throwback to Nike ads from the 80s with Michael Jordan.
We're looking at my mom.
That is cool, right? It's not the same. They're doing an iteration of it. But you could do that with bikes, and like look at old skateboarding coins. Skateboarders have like some of the most beat up skateboards, but people are going to be buying their new deck.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with bikes. Like, put people on a beat up bike and just make them look cool riding a bike. Someone will go start looking for a bike from a brand in that video.
I had a big afford pick.
To me, it seems that simple.
It's bikes that are less than £1,000.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
$1,400.
And the even cheaper side.
Yeah.
The way that it's packaged just isn't sexy, for sure.
Don't want to keep talking about Specialized. We give them enough free advertising.
That's why my bike isn't in the background.
But yeah, exactly. But the LA, they did a really good video, and they did make it look cool.
Yeah.
I think it's like Alec Briggs riding it
I don't know
back when he was sponsored by. Yeah, it's just like a cool little cinematic, but it was something I could find at least.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they do make it look really good, and it's the basic LA. It's not the sprint. It's just like the normal one. And there's a lack of that. It's like Tri-Band is the least cool kind of bike, isn't it? Like, it's really good, but
So
it's not.
it's just a
A young person is probably not looking at it going, yes, sick.
Alec Briggs is also a content creator. He's making pretty cool, in that vein of like retro, nostalgic,
this beat.
stylistic content, right? I'm sure he's not the one who's actually doing the editing or the creative direction of it, but the vibe that he's going after with like all his rally car themed bikes right now.
Subaru Canyon.
His Subaru
Oh,
Canyon,
it's
the Volvo Canyon.
Top end bike sales are the thing that's keeping companies going at the moment. So right now, I guess it is a big ask for a company that they've got shareholders and stuff. Like, they're just not going to budge.
I know the structure of this podcast has been a little bit different. We haven't done any normal themes, but I have really enjoyed this conversation. To wrap up this episode.
Shit.
Okay, cool. Rapid fire. No pressure.
Full pressure, all pressure. Before you get into those ones that are on the table, Catalina gave me a really great question to ask that was on my original guest list questions when we first started talking about this.
Okay.
But I forgot.
It's just like a diary of a CEO when they leave a question for the next person.
Maybe.
Just start.
Why not? Catalina wants to
Complicated
know.
maths question.
Catalina wants to know, what album do you listen to on your bike when you're riding?
Currently,
Is there one you can listen all the way through?
yeah. I do it for runs as well. Any exercise is Tank by Idols. It's a
Like,
British post-punk band at the moment because it makes you angry.
We'll link it on Spotify. Cool.
Check them out.
okay.
Lucy?
I like that question though.
Thank you, Catalina. That was a great question.
Shremo Shmano.
Shimano
Jura Tour of Welcome.
tour.
Olympics or world champs?
Olympics.
Sunrise or sunset? Right.
Sunset.
These are rapid. Practicing.
I got the script.
Favorite place you've ridden outside of California?
Death Valley. Is that in California?
No.
No, some of it is
Portions are in California, yeah.
Kelso, outside of Death Valley.
Kelso, is that Nevada?
It'd be yeah.
That's where the
We're
world's
out of California by
That's where the world's biggest thermometer is.
Oh, when you're
Baker, Barstow.
Oh,
One of
did
them.
I get that?
Barstow's, California.
every
Baker is the world's biggest thermometer.
It's pretty big.
Yeah. Barstow just had world's angriest man shouting at us.
Favorite place to ride inside of California? Also Death Valley.
Death Valley.
If there's someone who you would want to go on a bike ride with, historical figure, pro cyclist, someone in your life, past or present, who would it be?
R.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He rides a bike.
He does.
Yeah, down the beach path. Yeah. He had breakfast with my dad.
What did he eat?
2 boiled eggs.
Piece of bike.
That's how you get swole.
Yeah.
But he probably had more eggs at the start of his. I reckon he just eats eggs all day.
Raw eggs,
Boiled.
just all boiled.
Boiled.
Yeah. With soldiers.
Do you like dippy eggs?
Soldiers?
Yeah.
You never had
The bread you
dippy
dip
eggs?
in the eggs. Soldiers.
What is a soldier?
It's like, so the soldiers are the toast that they're cut into strips.
Oh,
And then you do a soft boiled egg
yeah,
and cut the top off.
sure.
And then you dip the bread.
Okay.
This is cultural education right now.
Yeah, I'm taking it
then
in.
you
I'm soaking it in like the egg yolk.
dip, the yolk, and then you eat it, and it's really good.
Mm.
I
Okay.
craved that the other week, and I made some, and they were so good.
I do that with fried eggs and toast, but I don't call my toast soldiers. I think that's why I'm a little...
It's British.
Okay, now we know. What's a fun fact about you?
That no one else knows. It's like, oh, Francis Cade exposed.
Oh no.
okay, I went the other.
No, I'm stuck.
There we go. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
We broke it.
We broke it.
We broke it.
It could
There's
be-
no fun.
It could be that people know down.
Does it have to be about me or just a fun fact?
Go. You can say.
Have you a fun fact?
Do you have a favorite fun fact?
Yeah. Did you know that you are taller in the morning
No.
than you are when you go to sleep?
He's the weight of the
Like
world pushes
significantly.
down on you.
Which is why you can't use bike fit calculators. I did a video on this. It blew my mind. It's
That's
like
actually
you can
pretty
be like an
incredible.
inch shorter in the evening. Like when we measured each other at the party,
Yeah.
we're like 2 a.m. We were already short. But if you wake up in the morning, you're super tall.
It's a good fact, though.
That is a good fact. What is the perfect ride length for you?
70k.
70K. Do that for Americans.
48?
Okay.
47?
Okay. I asked because I don't know, but I know what 100 is.
Google it.
I like doing other stuff at the end of a bike ride.
Yeah.
Like going for an extra large pizza. Things like that.
This extra large pizza is worth it.
Or Santa Monica Brew Works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I brought my ID. A beer would be nice right now.
I don't want it.
They don't know. You don't get ID'd if you wear cycling kit. It's a life hack.
That's true.
No one ever suspects the cyclist. You get away with anything.
This is true.
And a choir.
Fun fact about
He's 19, kids.
best advice for a new cyclist.
That I've been doing it.
Wear lycra so that you can get into pubs.
Got it.
Bang on.
It's all right. But when the fire or someone showed up, I went,
Cancelled.
Don't feel like you have to wear
Like,
lycra. Just wear a t-shirt. Enjoy.
what's your favorite cycling accessory?
someone go drop the order for
Frame pump.
Secret menu. And use 3 words to explain what riding a bike is to you.
Hawks.
So
Freedom.
Was it a great Mexican?
Sunburn.
What everybody like? I think silence 2 words.
Sunburn's one word. Sunburn is one word.
Okay, cool.
I think that about handles it. I don't think this is the last time we're going to be seeing Francis or having him chat with us.
Cool. I'm in.
Sick.
I love that until the questions.
Yeah.
That was so stressful. Yeah. It's good though. You know what? The multiple choice is easier. Make them all multiple choice.
Yeah. If you want to find Francis, if you don't already follow him or aren't already aware of him, then we'll link his stuff and what's great down below. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Many if they want. We will see you again very soon. Let us know what you think of this outside episode. Should we do more of these? Do you prefer the studio? hopefully the sound's okay and these women in the background aren't too loud.
This is an example of it's harder to make things than the audience realizes. Because there's always barriers.
No free lunch.
Challenges.
No free lunch.
Never a free lunch.
Yeah, if only people could see the tripod setup that we have right now. We're basically balancing the GoPro on 3 planks of wood and a mouth mount.
I think it's legit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure
for having me.
to finally meet you and have you here sitting with us outside in LA. It's a gorgeous day. I think we should wrap things up and get out for the rest of this bike ride.
Down
Before
for the way out.
Yeah. Let's do it then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful.